wrestling fans, from body slams to high-flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down in every match with tales and fights that you can't catch. The Marks Podcast is the place to be for every wrestling mystery.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers. And you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
That doesn't get old. Never will. Nope. No one else doesn't get old and I'm telling me to go fuck myself. Welcome to the Marks Podcast. I am Dan with Gerard. Jacob, of course, is on assignment. We love him. Hope he's doing well. Hopefully we'll be back next week. Fuck! It's been a fucking interesting fucking week in wrestling. 2 weeks? Are you talking about the fact that you didn't get to talk about Britt Baker's panties last week?
Oh, no. She got her panties in a bunch, though.
Well, you tell us about that, Gerard. What's going on with Britt Baker?
I think it's they need to let her go and let her fly, because you had a woman who bring that company's women division up, and once they signed the other woman, she's been kicked to the curb quicker than a $3 whore. It's horrible. And I mean, I can understand Britt Baker having issues with people in the back, but I mean, let's be honest. What was that women's division before her? She was their Charlotte Flair. How many women got the crowd? How many women got the crowd to do their tagline? That's it. All you got to say is, not too many women could have, because I'll tell you this right now, not a lot of people in the crowd talk about the CEO compared to the DMD. Very true. Hold on. Cover was wrong here. And, you know, it's a shame for Britt to where she gets injured. Not only does she lose her spot, and don't get me wrong, I mean, relationships happen, things come and go. She loses a spot in the company. She loses her relationship. Well, let's talk about that, because I think that AEW has become the fucking relationship destroyer. Let's not forget, not just them, but Miro and CJ Perry, who had been together for years. Now and there's talk about right now, he comes back to WWE, she might be coming back with him. I did not know Leland was such a big fan of DMD. I thought he was also a Mercedes Moné fan. No, he was interested to see how they were going to use her, and even he's smart enough to know they're not using her the way they should. She's using them the way she wants to. And that's the thing. She doesn't get over as the belt collector like she should. You know, she doesn't. She's been exposed, I believe. And understand, everything that comes out of this channel, anything that comes out of the show is all opinion-based, right? I can't tell you because I'm not part of the business. The only one who has any kind of advocation for any of that would be Gerard, because Gerard's actually been there, done that, seen that, has the T-shirt. But I have not seen anything out of AEW as far as Mercedes Moné that makes me feel like she's the woman, like she should be running a company. You want to know who I have seen it from? Athena, who is the current Ring of Honor champion, the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, the most talented woman in wrestling right now compared to anybody. I don't know what to do with it. They have her, but you would settle for Mercedes Moné. Now, if you want a belt collector, your girl should be Athena right now. Well, the thing is, too, is, okay, for Tony Khan's sake, when you're paying Mercedes Moné the money you're paying her, you're kissing her ass just because. Well, listen, you're paying her the money there for 3 years. Whether you kiss her ass or not, she's hooked to you for 3 years. So why kiss her ass?
Yeah.
Huh?
I just responded to the comments.
Yeah. Why kiss her ass if you already got her hooked on for 3 years? What's she going to do? Walk out the door? You get her for breach of contract that way. Or you do like you do to everybody else and just let her sit at home.
Well, my big thing is I think they believed that she was going to be their saving grace. She was going to be their female CM Punk, and nobody, motherfucker, is Phil Brooks.
Well, here's the problem. If she had shown that she could have been like that in WWE, she would have never left WWE. She would have never had been put in a tag team. The problem with Mercedes Moné is all this. I will say this. She can't talk her way out of a wet paper bag. Yes, she can wrestle if the right person is in the ring wrestling with her.
Here's the problem I have with that.
There you go.
Last night, they had Vengeance Day, and I know you and I talked about it. You didn't see it. You missed some of it. I missed some of it, but I saw what was important. I saw that woman's match, and congratulations to NXT for having the balls to put a woman's match at the end. It's good on that, which they've done it before. I saw Julia do incredible. I saw Stephanie Vaquer and her match do incredible. I saw Cora Jade. I mean, I think she needs some polish, but she has some talent. And I saw probably, I want to say, by far the best piece of talent that's come out of there in years, in the Prodigy. And I hate saying this because I'm a Bayley fan, but the person that slowed that match down last night was Bayley. She had more botches than anybody because she could not keep up with these young. And it's not to say that Bayley's not young or capable. She just did not seem in the same level as the other three.
I'm going to put it like this. Next roster production.
I'm letting you know, NXT roster. Because he likes to say next.
Okay. NXT roster production and main roster production. Okay. Next, NXT wants to speed it up. When you get to the main roster, it's slowly built.
So you're telling me basically they're going to the old folks' home when they go up to the main roster?
No, it's just hey, slow it down, tell the story more. In NXT, it's speed up the story because you want to know what? You want the triple A, you want to speed it up a little bit. So when you get to the majors, you slow it down just a hair bit.
Well, it felt like she was a turtle in quicksand down there because I'm just saying, I like Bayley. I have a type, apparently, my wife likes to say, because, I'm a fan of the posteriors. I like a nice butt. But that's not it. I've always liked Bayley. I love what she did her heel turn. I liked her when she was I fell in love with Bayley's character in NXT, and the crescendo was her against, again, Sasha Banks in Brooklyn. The love that she had, how much Dusty loved her, and how she deserved to be in that same category. And I've watched, and
I'm glad you just said that. Look at the match Bayley and Sasha Banks had in Brooklyn. How fast paced, how quick paced was that match?
It wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't. It was, you were telling a story.
They were telling, and that's the thing. It takes two to tell a story, right?
Yeah.
And when you get to the main roster, your storytelling is more than your athleticism.
So basically, you're saying that NXT is a pop-up book and fucking the main roster is the fucking thesaurus.
Yes, because you want these people to get over with that crowd.
It absolutely did, Leland. It absolutely did.
Okay, you want that. You want the crowd. You want the crowd in NXT to pop for some of these people.
I disagree because you have matches like Trick Williams versus Eddie Thorpe, and Eddie Thorpe went over. Didn't see that coming. You got guys like Ethan Page, who I love to death, and he's methodical with his stuff.
I'll give you a good one. I know he's no longer around. Velveteen Dream. The guy could work.
My favorite. I love I wish he wouldn't have waited so long to come out and tell his side of the story because I think he'd still be wrestling right now. Still, when he elevated Ricochet with that line. Anything Ricochet can do, the Dream can do better. And then the flip over the rope, it was just,
I'm saying, here's a guy who had he had the athleticism and everything like that. if he had been up to the main roster, I think he would have been crushed.
I don't believe so. I think he could have been world champion by now because he had such a unique gimmick.
I don't think he had the size to be world champion, though.
He was a big guy.
Velveteen Dream?
He was pretty big.
He wasn't.
He was a beefy son of a bitch.
No, he wasn't.
Did you see it? Yes, he was.
If he was 180 pounds soaking wet, it was a good day.
Maybe that's the production from NXT. And maybe, Leland, if you know better than us, please tell us.
But I'm just saying is, though, when you get to that point.
I see Mom life. I buy her tea and I buy her all the stuff she's set. I see you over there with the fan base getting on us right now. I hear you back there.
When you get to that point, and, Velveteen had it. Of course, the outside of the ring stuff got to him.
But it was, let's see, that's the thing. That's one of my big issues about that time in wrestling. I could go out and say that Gerard touched me inappropriately and they're going to do a full-blown investigation. And even if Gerard gets out of it, he's fucked. Now, as you said, he took too long to defend himself. Yep.
Okay? Which I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Usually the person who comes out with the story first, you give the benefit of the doubt to, depending on the response from the person being accused, that's where it goes. And, and that's going to segue into something else. The Super Bowl.
Derek?
In the past week, we've been able to see all the McMahon family. The person who was supposed to be ill on his deathbed. For a 79-year-old guy, I hope I can look like that when I'm 79 years old. But he's on his deathbed, not doing well. Looks like he's at the Super Bowl enjoying fun. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. And he's there with his son and The Undertaker.
And he cut off that stupid fucking mustache finally.
Yes. He doesn't look like Hitler anymore, or Jackie Gleason, whatever you want to call it. Now, on the other hand, we also saw Linda McMahon make a great appearance this week with her daughter, her son-in-law, and her son sitting behind her. Another one. Now, don't get me wrong. Linda, either shut off the buttocks that you're taking.
Botox, not buttocks.
Botox. Listen, I'm not a medical expert.
It's not called buttocks, Botox. Jesus.
I don't play one on TV.
You need a head doctor is what you need.
Stop the injections or whatever like that, because it's whatever it's doing to your face, it can stop. But
I wished you looked that good. That's what it is.
But I will say this: for all the other internet trolls, that looked like a pretty darn healthy family to me.
Well, and the thing is, look, I don't unlike other places, we're not going to come out and put out false fucking news. That's not what we do. We make an opinion, and we're not journalists. But we have journalistic fucking integrity, as we've said multiple times. If it happened, we'll talk about it. If it didn't, we're not going to speculate and say this did happen. Vince is on his deathbed. He's got a fucking probe up his ass. We're not going to do any of that. And I don't like Vince, okay? I've made it clear. Every damn episode, I feel like I've said it. I don't like Vince. But now you're getting it. But what I'm saying is, do your due diligence. Just like we've talked about with anything, just like stories that hit Gerard close to home. Have facts. And don't gloat and say like you're the fucking place to be for the fucking wrestling news when you're not. A lot of these guys are fucking full of shit, and it hurts my heart to have to say that.
But Dan, it's one of those things where you look at it as a whole. Okay.
Wrong pipe.
Regular journalists, as we found out in the past couple of years, because what goes on in politics and stuff like that,
past couple of weeks,
are held to a higher standard than the internet community. Why isn't the internet community held to the same standard as? Because
it's the fucking internet, Gerard. Because they think that because of the internet, they're Teflon and they can do whatever they want, and they don't have to worry because they're not governed by everybody else.
In which, you know what? That's one law that I could actually get behind, to where if you put something on the internet, just like a regular journalist does, if your story's false,
you should be hit up for it.
Absolutely.
Because look, it's more dangerous.
All you gotta do is look at Gawker. Look at what happened with Gawker. They're no longer an even internet show.
Yeah, but they're dumbasses. Like again, they're dumbasses. Not that he ruined his own career. We're talking about Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. He should have had anything. Like, look, if you're in that limelight, if you're that much of a celebrity, you should assume that you're always being watched. Like fucking Andre is watching Gerard right now. And for Hulk Hogan. Well, that's another thing. Let's lead into that. Hulk Hogan's being sued right now for hitting a broad in the face with a beer can. Dumbass.
Well, you got to be able to prove that he's the one that threw the can.
You're a shit. What the fuck are you throwing beer in a crowd for?
Dan?
I know you want to defend some of these guys, but fuck, Gerard, tell me.
Let me ask you a question.
Fucking cans.
Hey, let me ask you this. Full. Have you ever been to a concert, something like that, where musicians throw stuff out into the crowd?
No.
Okay. We saw a video of a guy take a T-shirt and shoot it into the jockstrap of another guy. Okay?
Look.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Fannies hit the stage. I've seen T-shirt guns hit the man in the balls. But right. I've never seen anybody take full force a fucking beer can and throw someone at their fucking head.
Okay. And I'm saying is stage diving.
And you know what? That beer tastes like natural light. It tastes like shit. That beer sucks.
That's
not American beer.
My thing is like this, okay? When you go to a beer signing or a beer presentation thing, stuff can happen. It's like going to a rock concert and not expecting stage diving.
Are you hearing this, man? Are you fucking hearing this man right now?
I'm
if you
saying
go to a beer signing, you need to expect Hulk Hogan to the fucking...
No, listen. It can happen on any... They'll just start throwing it out there because why? They want people to take it and buy it.
Hey, I love her comment, by the way. Hey, Doc, can I have some buttocks in my face, please? No, but audience, if you're listening to this crazy man say, you better not go to a beer signing because Hulk Hogan's going to throw a beer in your face.
I heard, like on Monday Night Raw, somebody took a jacket.
Okay, you know what? Dark Horse, you're right. You're right. To be fair, Brock Lesnar threw a Cadillac doors.
No. What is Monday Night Raw? I heard somebody took a jacket, threw it at somebody, and the jacket hit a fan.
Okay, it's a jacket. It's not a fucking full-ass beer can, Gerard.
What I'm just saying is, though, the person went down like they were hit with a car door. I think they're talking about you.
Oh, spider bite?
Oh, yeah.
Scar?
But I'm saying is, though, when you go to things like that, especially, now, the act of throwing the beer can and the person not paying attention, hey, it's like going to a baseball game.
It's their fault that some dumbass wants to throw a beer can in their face.
Listen, it's like going to a baseball game and getting hit with a baseball.
That's not even the same thing. They're playing a game.
It is. Guess what? You go there for free. Okay, listen, people went to the Philadelphia Eagles parade the other day. A couple people got shot.
To Philly. That was your problem.
Listen, can the people who got shot family go back and blame the Eagles?
That is not even... Are you fucking taking crazy pills right now? You're defending Hulk Hogan. I don't care if you
I'm not defending him because I can't prove that he's the one who threw the cans. If it come out that he's the one who physically threw the can, you're absolutely
that has a picture of Thunder Lips on it hitting me in the face, I'm gonna be pissed off at the man on the fucking beer can.
That's all I'm saying is if they come out and say he's the one who threw it, absolutely.
Were there signs that said Hulk Hogan's gonna do something stupid and throw a fucking beer can at you?
Well, at 72 years old, he might not even know he's doing it.
So now you're using the Biden defense.
Hey,
and when you watch the show, understand we don't always agree.
Just so that you know, it's wrestling. You never know what's going to happen in wrestling.
It's not. I'm going to get some beer.
Even worse. But hey, just that you know, if you ever saw it, though, the farthest thing Hogan ever threw was Sylvester Stallone in Rocky.
That's the thing. She did see it. Pow! Right in the face.
What I'm saying is, though, we've all seen Hogan throw. He could only throw Sylvester Stallone into the second row.
Stitches in the back of her head.
Hey. Which one of you is the pale one?
No.
What? Oh, I am white man from town.
Oh yeah, that was another one. I'm getting rid of that one.
But that's all I'm saying. It's just, you know, somebody's.
Oh yeah. So next time Lily goes shopping, he needs to watch out for flying bananas.
Some of the stores up here, yes.
They're not gonna throw eggs because apparently Big Egg is now having issues.
Throwing eggs might get you with a larceny charge because of how much they cost nowadays. Black hair, pale skin.
You got that one? Thank you, dear.
But no, I mean, so, you know, like I said, it's been a couple interesting weeks. Like I said, we had this incidents with the Super Bowl. You know, we can now go into Triple H being honored by himself for the Hall of Fame.
Do you think it was him who did it? Really?
No. I do really believe it was the surprise with Shawn and Undertaker indicting him. And then Michelle McCool.
Okay, let me ask you about that one because I've heard like condescending, or not condescending, but different stories in that. I've heard one person say that, yay, they're happy she's going in, and other people saying she doesn't deserve to go in. And you and I have kind of talked about it, but didn't go into detail. What do you feel about Michelle McCool going in?
I hope by the time WrestleMania comes around, Layla L goes in with her. I just think it's for what's best for both, because I think both of them deserve to be in together. I don't think Michelle did enough by herself, but I think she did enough with Layla to go in.
Which I don't agree. I think that she does deserve to go in. I think that the character itself was great. I think that she was athletic. She was damn, like, again, it's kind of like what Triple H said. She was one of those first ones that brought real athleticism to the divas.
But what I'm saying is, though, she got taken over the edge when they had Lay Cool. When they formed Lay Cool, that took her to another level, which that level put her in that talk. If she had stayed by herself the whole time, I don't think she ends up in that talk, if you get my point on that. And, you know, that can take us to the greatest tag team not in the Hall of Fame right now, which if everything works out, we'll get to see
Repo Man,
Axe and Smash, Bill Eadie and Barry Dorslow finally inducted into the Hall of Fame. It will be long overdue.
Oh, man.
They can finally put the pettiness aside and finally give these guys their well-deserved recognition.
Oh, I mean, but if you go back and think about that, they really...
For 3 years, there wasn't a tag team that could touch them.
You know, and I'm with you on that, but if I go back and I look at Lita's old matches, she could bump like a motherfucker and she could do a moonsault. But I didn't see her doing the stuff that Michelle was doing athletically, in my opinion.
Trish Stratus made Lita.
Oh, I would absolutely agree with that.
Nobody else. The matches she had with Trish was the only thing that put Trish. Because I'll tell you this right now. That feud with her and Lita and Trish, that feud right there, first woman main event to ever do Monday Night Raw.
And she damn near died or broke her neck.
That was a great match to end the night. Okay, that was basically what you saw there was the precursor to the Sasha and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Women.
You're not going to talk about Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte?
No. What I'm saying is a first for women to main event a television show for wrestling. They were the main event for a women's wrestling match, main event of the show. In the crowd, nobody left. Nobody went to the bathroom. People were waiting for it, and they put it on free TV. You couldn't have asked for it.
No.
Okay? But to put her in the same category as Michelle McCool, my thing is, when did Michelle McCool start the relationship with Taker to get the push?
That wouldn't go all that far.
No. The same with Nikki Bella.
I hate when you have a point. Go on.
Was the push for Michelle on because of Taker, or did the relationship with Taker take off because she got the push? If it took off because she got the push, no big deal. But if she got put in that position because of the relationship with Taker, just like Nikki got her position because, you're banging the number one guy in the business, But in Michelle's case, I think she got the better of the two deals because the way she worked. But I believe that Layla L deserves to go in with her because she made Michelle McCool better.
But I think that she's just window dressing. I think Michelle McCool was excellent on her own as a wrestler. But again, that's also...
It's speculative. I understand it. But I'm just saying is Layla L deserves it just as much just because she retired Michelle McCool.
And Dark Horse says himself, she did have a hell of a Hurricane Run. I'll give her that. And she was already a trained wrestler. Some people don't remember, she was Miss Congeniality in ECW. I mean, and she came in with S.A. Rios. They tried to make her out to be some sort of luchador, which she was never a luchador. She could lucha, but that was,
And I'm going to do this. Lita's biggest problem was the backstage politics.
And apparently they got together in 2007.
Okay? Think about that. Her biggest problem was the backstage politics for Lita, which probably dragged her career down because, between Edge, Matt Hardy, or whoever she was sleeping with at the time.
Shit, you sound more upset about it than he did.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying is the fact of at least Michelle McCool, as far as we know, was only with Taker. Who wasn't Lita with to try and further her career?
What do you mean by that, Leland? The biggest problem was Lita's giant tattoo on her shoulder, Jim Ross has stated.
Wasn't sellable.
It was a cool tattoo.
But how do you sell it?
She absolutely stuck on the mic and apparently off the mic.
Absolutely. But her in-ring work, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Some guys' in-ring work can definitely get them over better.
She did it with CM Punk as well.
Bret Hart.
Okay, let's talk about that though, because things have changed. All right, the narrative has changed as far as in-ring work. I watch a channel called the WWE Vault, and I watch a lot of old videos. Like today, I was watching the Fatal 4-Way match or Final 4 match between Vader, Taker, Steve Austin, and Bret Hart. And the quality of match, don't get me wrong, these are stars in their business, and these are legends of the game, but they don't hold a candle to some of the technical work that's being done now. Because it's evolved. It's a different landscape.
Like that's what I say. Nowadays, they want you to be able to put yourself over on that mic first, then back it up in the ring. I'll give you a person like that. I don't want to see Jacob Fatu with a mic in his hand.
Why?
I want to see him kick somebody's ass.
I like his speech. I like the way he is on the mic. He's different. He comes with that gutter mentality. I like that. I like it. It's a long time since I've seen that.
Just get in there and kick because I'm going to tell you this right now. I think within a year, if he can stay healthy, Jacob Fatu is going to be a top babyface in the company.
I don't know about all that. Maybe.
Just because when he gets going, the crowd starts cheering for him.
He's a badass.
They want to see him beat the hell out of somebody.
I feel like we did kind of gloss over it, but I do want to say this. I'm happy that Demolition is signed this Legends deal. I'm hoping it leads to the Hall of Fame. To be fair, like when they first came in, they were basically on the back foot from the beginning. That they were coming in during a time where everything was all commercial and cartoony. They were based off the fucking characters in the Road Warrior, Mad Max, and they were only there to be placeholders because Vince could not get a hold of the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors themselves. They did a damn good job until they eventually got buried by the Road Warriors years later. But
no, I disagree with that.
Why?
They got buried because of the BS that went on between Bill and Vince.
I'm talking about on television though, because I
think the stuff with Bill and Vince, or Axe, so most people know, I think the money problems were already coming into play, and that's why they went out and got crushed.
I love this comment. I fucking love this comment so much. The ring psychology is lacking now, though. Bret Hart was a genius in the ring. I don't know if anyone today ever comes close. And the reason why I would agree with that is because Bret never hurt anybody. I will go back and I will talk about a match, and I think this one's near and dear to your heart as well. We're talking Wembley Stadium, SummerSlam, the passing of the torch, allegedly, to the British Bulldog. And Bulldog has admitted that he had gone through a whole fucking shit of drugs and got fucked up. Bret carried him through a fucking classic.
I'm going to give you one thing. If it's not in Wembley Stadium, Davey Boy doesn't go over. They put him over because he's in Wembley Stadium. He's the British Bulldog. Okay? I want you to think about this. Because if we're going to talk about classic technical wrestlers, let's talk about Perfect, DiBiase. We can talk about Bret. DiBiase didn't need a mouthpiece.
No.
He could talk and he could perform in the ring. Mr. Perfect, he had the brain, but he could still talk. Guys nowadays, to have the ring psychology, that's why I say, I can't stand Gunther on the mic, but I can watch the guy wrestle.
I disagree. I love Gunther.
I can watch him wrestle all the time. The old school ring psychology that we used to watch growing up that got a lot of guys over, Jake the Snake. The psychology part of it, they made you hate them before you got into the ring. Listen, the honky tonk man, the way he talked,
Why do you always bring up the honky tonk man?
Just because of the name Honky? But anyway. But I'm just saying is though, on the mic, he would make you pissed off. But when he got into the ring, listen, another one that was like that, Rowdy Piper.
But Roddy Piper was a perfect brawler in the ring. He was of that brawling style.
But he would piss you off before he even stepped foot in the ring. He'd have you so mad that you wanted to see him have his head ripped off when he got into that ring. You don't have that today, other than Dominic Mysterio. The only problem with Dom, because he weighs 175 pounds soaking wet, it's not even reality anymore. Because somebody like Braun Strowman should be able to just take his head, like the old Mortal Kombat, just pluck his head with the whole spine and come out.
Well, see, that kills me because you and I are both big fans of Gino Hernandez. Gino would talk shit, but he could back it up in the ring. And I haven't seen that in years.
Gentleman Chris Adams, same way.
I still say top 5 super kicks ever.
Listen, what do you think put Ric Flair over?
Mouth.
Listen, his mouthpiece. That's what would we agree that to be a heel is so much easier than to be a face? Okay? Think about that.
Yes, I was literally going to bring it up. In the comments, we have one of the most entertaining Royal Rumble moments was in the 01 when Honky Tonk Man came out to sing the song and Kane knocked his head off with a guitar. I was like, hey, calm down there, big fella. Don't y'all want to hear me sing my song? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just please punch him in the fucking face.
Listen, when he used to come out and say, thank you for your beautiful audience, especially you up there in the cheap seats. But some people, you want to take it as a compliment. but it's meant to be an insult saying, listen, you cheap fucker. Spend some money. Come down here.
I just didn't like Honky Tonk Man. You're right. He did that. But again, there's nobody like that right now other than Dominic. And
and I want people to hear me when I say this. Vince McMahon used to run his businesses like this. How can I make that guy in the last row up in the balcony feel the same way as the guy who bought the ticket for the front row? How can I do that? And that's why he had so many guys that would get under your skin. So when the baby face came out, that guy in the back row would give you the same reaction as that guy who spent the money to sit in the front row. That's what you wanted. And you can see that by a lot of, like when Ultimate Warrior fought Randy Savage at WrestleMania 7, and the match ends, Warrior pins Savage, he's standing over him like this. And then you have the squash where Sherry comes in, starts beating up Savage. Elizabeth comes out of the crowd.
Oh.
You had grown people crying. That's the kind of stuff. No matter how much you pay in a building, behind the scenes, that's the kind of stuff you can't pay for no matter what. In the wrestling business, to bring out that raw emotion, the ups and downs, the highs and lows, to bring it out of the fans, to make the fans feel at the end of the night that they paid their money and left fulfilled. Last Tuesday night, what did we all hear?
Let it go. Johnny Curtis will never be. No, I'm sorry. Okay. We do have a topic as far as like people coming over and whatever, being free from AEW and the switches of contracts and all that. But I'm not going to let that one go. I know you don't like Jey Uso, but Jey Uso is not the same as Fandango.
No,
Fandango got over.
It's not that I don't like Jey Uso. Not that I don't like him. He's a hot man right now.
I know you like your hot men.
Where is he going to go once he reaches that top of the ladder?
That's not the point, though. We've talked about this before, okay?
Daniel Bryan had a place to go.
There's no, okay, hear me out. The money, and I'll always stand by this, and Dark Horse, I saw you, and shout out to the NF Punkster. Love that guy. Yeah, we're having a discussion about this as well. The money is not with the face, the baby being on top. The money is with the baby chasing the title. Perfect example, Steve Austin fighting against the corporate structure. If you really look at it, Austin wasn't champion a super long time, but it was such a big pop watching him get to the championship. I'm not concerned about Jay being champion. I'm concerned, when he gets the belt, cool, he can lose it next month, and I'm fine. I'm satisfied. I'm satiated. I'm concerned about, I'm watching for a guy who started out as a tag team wearing face paint and looking like a member of the fucking Spirit Squad.
Hey, Dan, I got a question for you. If Rowdy Piper had pulled an Austin and went after McMahon, where would that have bring Piper?
If Piper would have won the belt.
And what would it have done for him?
He would have been over but crazy. Everybody would have been so. I mean, he didn't need the belt. Granted, I think he deserved the belt.
Correct. Austin didn't need the title.
They needed him in that championship position more than he needed to be the champion. But it is a validation. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you said that. It is a validation for the work put in. You can't sit here and tell me that starting here, when he was all colorful and all this other shit with the fucking the Usos dancing around doing the Samoan dance, to going to the Uso penitentiary, to becoming one of the greatest tag teams of all time, to having the what's going on, Sloppy, to having the matches where in the Hell in the Cell with Roman, classic matches, to having the I Quit match, to having tribal combat, that he does not deserve his flowers at the end, even if it is for a month.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. We've talked about this, though. At the end of the day, how long is that going to last for him, though?
It doesn't have to last long. You just got to get, you said it yourself, with Macho Man, Elizabeth coming out, fighting off Sherry, And them having that embrace after all that time apart, after they broke up and this stuff, and they hug in the ring, women crying in the ring, right? To have Jey Uso have that moment with his son, much like Kofi Mania, much like all this other stuff happening.
You just said something that could be very intriguing. Jey Uso wins it. Rikishi comes out.
What Dark? Put that back up. Put that up. If Cody Rhodes can run with running on his daddy's coattails, and Jey can win the title at WrestleMania,
and I just read that. That's what I'm saying to you. If Jey wins it, and you hear Rikishi's music he comes out, what would be the difference?
Absolutely, because Jey Uso hasn't gone around saying, "Oh, I'm Rikishi's son. I'm Rikishi's son." He has done it on his own. It wasn't until later in life that people found out those were the sons of Rikishi. He has never come out and
they mentioned it thousands of times.
His name is not Jay Fatu. They're not Jimmy and Jay Fatu. They're not Jimmy J. Kishi. They are Jimmy and Jey Uso. They are two guys who happen to be of Samoan blood, Samoan lineage, of the Samoan dynasty, going out there and doing it on their own. And Jey Uso has earned that.
I'll tell you this right now. I'm hoping he wins the title and he breaks into the Rikishi dance. But I'm just saying is, if Rikishi comes out because he wins the title, other than The Rock, think about that, and Roman Reigns, you're talking about a heritage where I'm going to say for the better part of...
You also forget Yokozuna, thank you very much.
For the better part of the past 50 years, the lineage of this family has been a big part of the WWE.
True.
But other than The Rock, and maybe a little Roman, the lineage of this family has not lived up, because once it happens, where do we go from here with it? That's my only problem. Where do we go?
That's another good look here. And I agree with that. And I was happy that he did that for his dad, but a year has been too long. I said it last week when we talked about Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens should have taken that strap off his ass fucking in that ladder match.
Listen,
I don't want to see Owens and fucking Sammy for the fifth time with no real fucking.
Hey, when it comes to Dusty Rhodes, when it comes to Cody Rhodes now, the worst thing that could have happened to Cody was his brother re-signing with AEW. His brother should have came over.
Why?
And beat the snot out of him. Because why? Look at what I've done in this business. I didn't have this handed to me because I'm my father's son.
Hold on. Put that one up. Also, don't forget why Rikishi ran Stone Cold over. 1, he did it for The Rock. And 2, he did it so his son could win at WrestleMania.
But I'm saying is, though, all this stuff that you can talk about with Jey and Cody, if you had Dustin had come over and Dustin could have taken the title off of him.
Yeah, but look, Dustin, I think the AEW is the right place for Dustin because he's trying to influence and teach the talent over there wrestling. We said it ourselves, if anybody should be the guy behind the scenes who's holding that book, it should have been Dustin. We've talked about it.
It should still be him.
Agreed. But the thing is, we also talked about the fact that if anybody's going to protect those kids over there from doing stupid shit and they will listen to, it'd be Dustin. It wasn't going to be Punk. And I like Punk just fine, but they don't respect him. It goes back to years ago where Punk said he was a locker room leader and everybody laughed at him. Laugh at Cody Rhodes, you're going to get slapped in the mouth.
Well, look at it like this, okay?
I'm sorry, Dustin Rhodes. I apologize.
Right now, you don't think AEW would love to have the CM Punk we're seeing right now?
They did have that CM Punk.
No. Don't you think right now they're like, what happened? Why did we screw up so badly? We let that guy go for a piece of shit named Jack Perry, for a piece of shit named the Young Bucks.
What's the name of the show, Gerard?
Marks.
Who are they in AEW?
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on.
You got one giant curly-haired mark.
A rich man living off daddy's money who, just so you know, is also, if I'm right, in charge of the hiring process for his daddy's football team, and they still don't have a head coach.
This is my thing. I like look.
That's it. He's going to name himself head coach.
So you and I would both agree that WCW had a hell of a run in the beginning when Eric Bischoff had taken over, right?
Not at the beginning.
When Eric Bischoff got control. What Tony Khan should have done is basically been Ted Turner, Eric, and find himself a fucking Eric and put him in charge, someone who actually knew the fucking business. Instead, he's a fucking fanboy of the Young Bucks, and I will not deny the Young Bucks' talent in New Japan and the legacy they have built. Never. What I will say is that Tony Khan is basically become, and I know all about this, the Jerry Jones of fucking wrestling, and has gotten on my fucking nerves.
Hey, just so you know, think about it like this. When it comes to Tony Khan and stuff like that, you have Sting, who says this is his last year of doing anything.
Okay, I can't. That's one of the few things I will say that they did right by Sting. He did.
No, what I'm saying is, why can't you bring him in?
He doesn't want to. He just wants to sit there and enjoy his retirement.
No, what I'm saying is, though, the guy's been in the business for 40 years. Pick his brain apart. Steve, what can you do to help us? Have Dustin there. What can we do? Tony, you need that person. Tony Khan needs to find his freaking Pat Patterson. He better find it damn soon, because I'm going to tell you where he's going to find himself. He's going to find himself in the bingo halls lower than ECW. That's where he's going to find himself. And Paul Heyman himself couldn't rescue him from a bingo hall.
The thing that's wrong with him is he knows too much, right?
And
you and I have talked about this, and I think is in my talkings with you that I really affirmed this belief as far as wrestling. I was one of those young guys who said the curtain call wasn't that big a deal. Kayfabe being, broken. Hey, it's fucking way. It's good to know what's going on in the back. I was wrong, because you can go back to the most minute details of how wrestling has changed negatively. You and I have talked about this. The DDT is by far my favorite fucking finisher. If I have to pick one finisher in the whole business, the DDT was my favorite.
Yep.
The DDT does not mean shit anymore. When your first match, your female wrestlers are doing DDTs, and it means nothing. The DDT meant the end of the match. The DDT put fucking Ricky Steamboat out of wrestling. His career was over because of the DDT. And because kayfabe was broken, I'll give WWE one thing. They made the package power driver something again. They made the power driver mean something.
They figured out how to do it without hurting somebody.
There needs to be some fucking curtain there that divides the fan base. These are fans. This is behind the curtain. Because what they've done is they destroyed a business that was built on spectacle. And now you basically, going back to fucking Jack Perry, you have to have this fucking kid who looks like a fucking toddler wearing jean shorts and face paint set a motherfucker on fire to end a match. That's how fucked up it's gotten. Yeah, the super, that's another one you can bring up. Everybody does a super kick.
Yep.
And I'm disgusted by it. But speaking of somebody who could do some some amazing kicks, we got 3 guys that are out of contract with AEW. And I'm curious how you feel. One of them has already debuted. And you notice how they do not say his name, because I don't think it's going to be Ricky Starks when he debuts. But the formerly known right now, Ricky Starks, has debuted in, as you like to call it, Next. What are your thoughts on Absolute?
I wish they didn't bring him out with a cage match coming up, so he could have actually walked through the crowd and got his ass in the ring. The way they did it,
that was a tease. That was a tease.
And I'm just saying, the way they did it, I think was good. I think it could have been better.
As you can tell, the wife does not like Ricky Starks, even though she was a Rock fan in her early days of wrestling fandom.
So, hey, one thing. Can you ask her, because we have somebody trying to chat in, and he's telling me he's having a problem. Mr. Rishardi. Mr. Rishardi is trying to chat in. And he's telling me he's not going through.
He's not there. Hold on.
Okay.
So Ricky Starks.
So if you want to find out if so with Ricky Starks, here's like I said, to come in there. First of all, I think when he came into NXT, there was already more people there than there were in an AEW show.
Jesus.
The second thing about it is his promo was good to start. It wasn't great. If they had done some kind of a way to get him involved quicker, so the audience, because remember, maybe not everybody knows who Ricky Stark is because he's been out for a year. Nobody's seen anything he's done for a year. If he was on,
whose fault is that?
No, I'm saying if he was on AEW last week, a la Rick Rude, and showed up on Next this week, even though Rick Rude did it the same night, I'm saying you have the crowd. Okay, we know who this guy is now. My only thing is to not have him on TV at all in the past year. Some of these people might have forgot who he was. Now, what's shocking?
Again, I think that you
he
think
didn't show. Hey, what was shocking though? He didn't show up last night.
No,
which he should have.
Why? What match did he need to show up for?
Doesn't that no match? Just show up. I don't give a crap if he's sitting in the front row. I'm just saying is though, I think it's a good pickup. How quickly they put him into the roster, how quickly they can get him into that title picture. That's the thing. I don't want to see him win it quickly.
WWE has a great track record of taking these leftovers from AEW and making them better. And I include CM Punk in that. I include Cody in that. They do a slow build and they do it right.
I include Jade in that too.
Yeah, but Jade is only going to be as good as she chooses to be because she gets.
You know what Jade Cargill's biggest problem is right now?
She has no fucking in-ring talent.
Jade Cargill.
Yep.
That's her biggest problem right now
She
because
looks like a fucking $1,000,000. She's built like a brick shit house, but is she going to ever be as good as the hype? Her biggest issue is the hype.
No. It's her, right? It's her. It's her. She is her own worst enemy. That's it.
We also got two other guys that know the system, the WWE system, and I'm curious to see what you think they're going to do with them. Talking about Miro, formerly known as Rusev, and talking about Malachi Black, formerly known as Aleister Black.
My question to you is this. Are we at the wrong time of year?
I would agree with that one too, Dave.
Are we at the wrong time of year right now to where these guys coming in, or April 21st, we see these guys? Because I'll tell you this right now, the night after WrestleMania would be the optimum time to bring these guys in. Don't bring them in beforehand, because you have such a road to WrestleMania right now. To bring these guys in,
they're going to get lost in the shovel.
Yeah, correct. They're going to go right back to what they just left. But if you wait till after WrestleMania, where now you can bring them in, and some of the guys work up to WrestleMania, hey, you can take some time off.
Let me ask you this though. Before that, we have Stand and Deliver coming up with NXT. Do you think that either of those guys are going to NXT, or are they too mainline that they need to be on the main roster immediately?
If it's true what I saw, that Miro comes back with Lana,
possibly.
If he comes back with her, You can't have him come back in NXT. Aleister Black, you can. You see CJ Perry show up with Rusev, that place is going to go freaking cuckoo.
I would agree, and I think if they do that,
especially if she comes back as the ravishing Russian.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If she comes back with a red dress, hair done up in the fucking bun, and she goes, Rusev, and you know, when you go back to that, I think that look, that we forget about the last 5 years. We go back to fucking business. But he's always
it'd be like they never left. Be like they never left.
But
listen,
he's proven. I'm sorry, Miro has proven that he is more than that.
And I'm going to say to you is, it would be like if tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw we heard my name is El Mundo Alejandro.
I don't want to hear that. What is your obsession with these motherfuckers?
I'm saying to you, the only thing that made him he was more over than the guy he was managing.
You're talking about Yamenga.
Okay?
Yamenga.
You can't be more over than and unfortunately Lana was more over.
But that's fine. But look at this. But I think Miro has established one positive that has come from his time in AEW is when he did the Best Man, and he was funny and he was hilarious. People liked him, but he'd kick your ass in the ring. And then when he did the Redeemer character, that he was God's favorite champion, I thought that was just, it showed that he had depth. Is it working? I sent him the link.
Oh, you sent it.
I put it in our chat. Huh?
You said something to me and Jacob.
Well, who are you talking about?
John Ricciardi.
Oh, shit.
He was just trying to do the chat.
I don't know. What was he under a different name?
I'm not sure.
Well, he should be.
No, John.
I know who John is, the fucking colorful individual who fucking.
Yeah.
And if y'all have never gotten a taste of John, let's just say John's I think colorful is the best fucking word. We love you, John. I hope you're doing well. Fucking hell. You can send him the link. You have it.
No, I've already sent it to him. He for some reason or another, he can't get on the comments.
Well, if he would keep his verbiage to fucking kind of PG and not drop fucking 15 different whatever. You're not trying to change it, John. You're a fantastic individual. And, you know, Dave should have made a point, too. Another talent that I will say the AEW did fantastic with was Tony Storm, who just got the title back in Australia. But that was a shit show in itself. And I know you want to talk about Australia and the debacle that it is. Well, and the thunder from down under. My wife happening to be a fucking Australian native. But go ahead. Tell us about Australia.
I will say that somebody sent me a picture of how the ring looked, of all the ring posts bending inward, right? Now, coming from somebody who actually knows a little bit about wrestling rings, two reasons why that happened. You have a piece of crap ring that's just been overly used, okay?
Okay, and this is stuff you taught me. That's the reason why WWE has as many rings as they do. You have to rotate them out. You cannot use the same fucking ring.
You can. No, you can.
But it's going to be trash.
Here's a kicker to that. You can use the same ring, but you got to know your ring's tension points. Okay? You got to know it. After a certain while, it's like with everything in life, you put so much tension on these things, you got to know when, okay, we got to start moving shit around. We can't just keep putting stuff in the same spot.
It's like a fucking car. You got to get oil changes. You got to rotate shit. You got to do it. A ring is a piece of machinery almost. And with all the
remember one thing, Dan. You're talking about steel. Where steel, as much as some people don't want to believe it, over time
warps
and bends. Even railroad tracks, every 25 years, whatever you want to call it, have to be replaced. Because why? With the heavy shit going on them, it's going to wear out after.
We'll not talk about Keith Lee that way.
I'm just saying, no.
Or Nia Jax.
But I'm just saying, railroad tracks, even they can wear out. The quality of the ring should never be compromised. Never.
Yeah, the fucking bending, that was, again, it gets to a point where it's ridiculous. It's like,
no,
even
what I'm saying is, it's like you would never compromise a stage in the entertainment industry. And speaking of I just want to say this out real quick. Happy 50th anniversary to Saturday Night Live.
Boo.
But you would never want to compromise the stage. A wrestling ring is the wrestler's stage.
But it's indicative of a bigger fucking problem. The fucking AEW itself is so broken, even to the fucking most bare bones, that their ring is shit.
Listen, the ring that I used to have, okay? Yeah, it bent. But guess what?
You fixed it.
It was 40 freaking years old. Okay?
We're talking about
I knew how.
The one that Cornette showed you? Or the one that showed you showed Cornette?
I knew how to get it so it wouldn't bend so much. I knew how to get it to that point.
But again, it's like you're talking about ring posts. I mean, if somebody just listening to this, this the ring posts are a little bent. No, it's because if it's bending that much, you also have to worry about fucking tension on the ropes. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Well, basically, what that means is whoever's been putting that ring together has been the cables underneath and the ropes on top. You've over-compromised. When I say over-compromise, you've over-compromised to where it now looks like a bow and arrow, okay? And when it starts looking like that bow and arrow, you got to back off of one of them. And you'll always get the tension as long as the cables are underneath. And when you have the bow like that, basically means to me, you do it the lazy way where on one end of the post, you don't have a turnbuckle. You tighten everything up from the other end. Where you should have both posts with the turnbuckles so you're pulling into both equally. The other thing is some rings, and if you've ever noticed, AEW uses an 18-inch turnbuckle, where WWE uses a 12-inch turnbuckle. So when you only have a 12-inch gap between the post and the corner pad, or you have an 18-inch gap between the post and the corner pad, you got to bring in a lot more tension for that 18-inch post than that 12-inch post. WWE does a great job of hiding a bend in the post.
Well, because if you look at Raw or SmackDown, they also have that extra post on top.
They got a post cap now. They got a post cap. But back in the day, they didn't have post caps. You still had bent posts. But with that 12-inch thing, that's because when I tell you this, if a ring cable underneath snapped and you were anywhere near it, your ankles were gone. It would have been like getting hit in the legs by an alligator. It would have just wiped out your ankles. And that would not have been. I saw cables snap twice. Ropes, I can't tell you how many ropes I ever saw broke. But cables to snap, that's a scary sight. Because when the cables on the ring snap, it's almost without the hydraulics, you almost want to see the posters come in and collapse because of how tight the ropes are. It almost just brings it in like this. And to get it back, you got to be good enough to, okay, you got to loosen up the ropes, reattach the cables, and hope the ring adjusts itself.
And I'm going to tell y'all this. This is not a guy who's talking about this who knows nothing. He worked on the ring crew for years. Like, he was there. He's been with the old rings. He understands how the rings makeup and the machinery works as far as that goes. This is not some guy speaking out of his ass.
Like when we used to have Big Blue with the center spring, we had to run this cable through the center spring. And, and then when they turn everything in without no cable and without no spring anymore, it was one of those things to where you got to get that tightness. And what happened, what somebody decided was, or whoever first decided building the rings, like, you got all this tightness up top, but you got nothing on the bottom to do it. And when I did that show, I told you guys months ago, the ring only had one-sided cables underneath. So you only were pulling the tension from one side. And the posts were like this. They were bent because you had nothing to accent the bending. And that ring you saw the other night, that's what it was. It's just
look how sad. Look how sad the state of AEW is that we can't even talk about the wrestling. We're talking about the fucking ring because that's more entertaining than anything.
No, I can guarantee you that was not an AEW ring. That was a rented ring from somebody in Australia where all they did was put the AEW aprons on it.
Fair.
And that's all. That's probably all that was.
But they allowed it to happen. That's the thing. You have professional wrestlers in an Australian stadium. I was the AEW shill on this show. I used to be the biggest supporter of AEW. Jacob and him used to give me so much shit for my love of AEW and how it's a counter, it's different. We're not stuck with the same Vince WWE shit where we're moving on to something. This is going to be great, and then they just fucking shit the bed. So many times.
Well, I will put it like this. Okay, somebody said in the past week, certain wrestlers can be making 30 to 40.
Leland was right. The QT Marshall commented on it, and that they weren't going to pay to ship the ring. You have all the money in the fucking world, Tony.
Think about this. I don't want to pay the money to send the ring, which is my most important piece of my business. Forget about the wrestlers. Everything revolves around the ring.
No, they had to pay for the gas to pay for the flamethrower that was going to set somebody on fire.
But think about that, though. It's like, hey, you go to a car dealership. We have no cars today. Why not? Well, it wasn't important to have the cars there. No. It'd be like going to a concert hall.
Hey, we did not have enough hairspray. We had to get the hairspray for fucking, what the fuck is her name? The referee.
Wait a minute. Audrey Edwards, we had to supply her budget of stretch pants so we couldn't get the ring here. So I'm saying is, how stupid can you be to say we can't afford to get the ring here, so we have to rent another ring from that part of the world? Number one rule of professional wrestling is the most important piece of equipment you can have is the damn ring.
Which kills me. Again,
You can rent barricades. You can rent the lights. You can rent the pads. You can rent everything else. But the canvas art that you're asking your performers to perform in, is the ring. Spend the damn money.
Yeah,
get
it's
the ring
just a
there.
small drop in the bucket of the big problems they have there as far as like.
And he probably has his own damn plane. Fly it down.
Well, Kyle Fletcher's friends are his fucking friends. To put.
So the indie pro, you know what sad is? They probably made
Hold on, time out. Because there's something I do want to talk about. It's like I said, it's indicative of a problem in AEW where they just don't give a fuck about the shit going on. Case in point, you have one of your top stars, and you're allowing him to go and climb the fucking Everest. He could die up there, but hey, it's okay. It's going to be great for promotion. We're going to have a guy go up there to Everest. And if something happens to him, the first thing they're going to do is they'll do a tribute show about how Darby Allin didn't make it past Everest and it's just fucking horseshit.
And the sad part is, when you think about this, we could talk about free agents and stuff like that coming and going.
Yep.
I know one person in AEW needs to be a free agent. Tony Khan.
The best part of, if you hadn't seen it, they used a little stepladder.
Listen, I got a good joke about that. Honky tonk man, I got to go back.
Again, you're doing the honky tonk man. Okay.
Had to bring a ukulele. Because they couldn't find a full-size guitar. Oh, was a ukulele. And, you know,
I'm cocky. I'm bad. Fucking honky tonk, man.
But when you do this kind of stuff for a thing, like I said, Tony Khan should become his own free agent. Cut himself out of that position. Because, Tony, hire somebody. Say, here, you have a $200 million a year budget. That's what you have, is $200 million a year.
We have look. What AEW is his fucking fan project because he gets to be part of the wrestling business because he's a fucking mark. That's all it is. I mean, I can't put it any other way than that. And it's a fucking travesty that you have guys like Chris Jericho defending this, and it's okay.
And why does Chris Jericho defend it? Because he's one of those guys who's making a crap load of money to do not that much. He says he doesn't book himself. BS. Because Chris Jericho's in his own head to where he has to be there every week because the amount of time he's been in the business, he still believes if I'm not there, people are going to forget me. Chris Jericho, people want to forget you. You're not.
Your favorite guy, David Meltzer.
The overall product, Chris Jericho, look at your overall product. You guys, you're admitting the fact you guys are getting annoyed that when you look into the hard camera, you see nothing but empty seats. Nothing. When you look,
because if you go back, right, they were on so much of a roll. I go back to the match between Jericho and Moxley when the choir is singing his song. He's coming out. Moxley had the eye patch on, and the big reveal that his eye's fine. They're singing his song. He had gotten in a tremendous shape for that match, and they just look. It is night and day comparison to what AEW has become. And I'm not a fucking hater. All right. Again, I was the shill for AEW on this channel, and what it has become, I just don't have words.
I liked Tarzan Boy. Why? You'd hear the pop of the music, and what would the fans start doing?
Oh,
Chris Jericho, Judas. What were the fans doing? What made AEW was you got fan interaction. It's what makes all professional wrestling work.
And they, in a matter of fucking 2 mistakes, I would say these are the 2 mistakes that have ruined that company, and I'll stand by it. No one's proven me wrong yet as far as that personally. The loss of CM Punk and the loss of Cody Rhodes and what WWE has done with those 2 pieces of talent.
I want you to think about this. WWE has stayed course except for 2 guys. AEW don't know which 2 guys they want to go on course. Everything WWE has done, they haven't changed nothing except for they got Cody Rhodes and CM Punk from AEW. All they've done. They've stayed course.
I've heard that theory as well. I can't, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and validate that because I don't know. But I would agree that that's a solid point.
So when you stay course, and I heard Paul Heyman say, when he books somebody, he writes the last page first. How we get to that last page, we can talk about. But we're going to write where he's going to be first, which is the last page. From the first to the last page, we can fill in everything we want. But how we get to this page, Tony Khan, yeah, he probably only has a 3-page book, which basically lasts him about 4 weeks. Because if you ever notice, everything in AEW lasts about 4 weeks, and then they don't know that didn't work. Let's change it again.
Other than what I'm hearing, I don't watch the product anymore.
Right.
I mean, the last thing I saw was John Moxley has a briefcase, and they buried fucking, in my opinion, Hobbs, who was a young talent who deserves the fucking world. The guy He's one of their homegrown guys, and they've done shit with him. You got fucking MJF arguing with Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett got the better end of it, even though, MJF's supposed to be your guy. Now maybe you might get Hangman Page against fucking MJ. I don't know. It's rinse, recycle, repeat. You got two monsters in fucking the Murder Hawk and fucking the Machine. What are they doing? You got Bobby Lashley. You got fucking. What are you doing?
Unless it's a cut by WWE. And let's go back to some of the free agents. Sonya Deville.
Oh, she'll be their top star next week.
She should be. Unless she goes against Mercedes Moné, which she'll go right back to. I couldn't stand the girl's look, but Ruby Soho, I could deal with her in the ring.
Oh, she's excellent in the ring.
Sonya Deville will come in. My theory on that is Sonya Deville should come in and absolutely squash Mercedes Moné.
It won't happen.
Won't happen.
It won't happen.
And pull a Scott Hall. You know who I am, and now you got to know why I'm here. I'm here for one reason only. To take that damn title off that mouth that you've been running. That's all you got to say.
But one person can't fix the sinking ship. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work.
No. One person can't fix a sinking ship. But I'll tell you what she can do, or what some people can do. Put eyes on a product. What are they going to do with them?
Who the fuck knows about Sonya Deville unless you're a wrestling fan? You can't go out into a fucking crowded area and say, hey, do you know who Sonya Deville is?
Now,
I guarantee you no one's going to know.
Listen, we know probably the Good Brothers are going to go back to TNA.
Oh, they'll go back to the AEW with their fucking buddies, the Bucks.
But here's the thing. When you're going back to stuff like that, right now, I'm going to give you another one that we didn't bring up. Frickin' Tony Khan couldn't work with Arn Anderson. That is a travesty.
No, it's not that he couldn't work with. He couldn't handle someone telling him the truth.
That was pathetic. I like this guy. Listen, absolutely.
Fuck yeah, that's another guy I completely forgot about. Wardlow.
Think about it. You had that whole gimmick with MJF. That gimmick got over. Where the hell's Wardlow been since?
Again, William Regal.
Yep.
And all they did was try to make Regal look like an asshole for leaving. He finished his dates. He finished his time. He wanted to go be with his son. Fuck you.
And hold the thing. The thing about that is Tony Khan allowed that to happen with a 1-year commitment. You don't appear on TV. That was it. I'll let you go. With a 1-year commitment, you don't appear. You know what? In Steven Regal's defense, he kept his word.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wait a minute. You're going to blame a wrestler for keeping his word? That sounds a little old school to me.
The victim fucking mentality coming from them. Like, woe is me. They did this. Punk beat up one of my stars. No, look, if you go back and you listen to fucking what he did, and I don't like Ariel Helwani, but he sat there and talked to Ariel Helwani, did that whole interview, and then Tony Khan, the Bucks, put out the fucking footage and all that, and just corroborated everything Punk said. You put me in a position, I was here to be talent, and y'all could not get your fucking balls out of your wife's purses and do the job and be grown up and tell these motherfuckers what to do and what goes and what doesn't go. So you have a stupid kid who wants to use real glass. How'd that work out for you, dickhead? And now you've lost your two biggest stars because of infighting and stupidity.
Tony Khan, if he could be standing if Tony Khan could be standing in front of me in 10 minutes, I could tell him how he could change his business. Eric Bischoff could tell him how he could change his business. Jim Cornette could tell you how he could change his business.
And then cuss him out because Jim does that.
It doesn't do a damn bit of good if he walks out the door and walks right into the Young Bucks and says, this is what I want to change. And those two morons look at him and say, no, we're not doing that. I think he needs to start taking a look and just saying, instead of being friends, I am only the guy that writes your checks to you from now on. I don't need EVPs that are going to undercut me. Because look at my damn business. I can't put 2,000 people in a building because of the product you guys tell me is good. In my job, in your job, it's all a numbers-based thing. If the numbers say differently, what do businesses start doing?
Bye.
Okay? They start cutting. We got to do something to grow the business.
But see, this is what kills me. They started out with such great stories, such great things going on. Again, I spoke earlier about Moxley and fucking Jericho, but the Bucks and Hangman and Omega had a great fucking story going on. When FTR came in there, they came in as a ball. I can't think of anybody that has come over and been successful in that company. You can argue that fucking Mercedes has, but nobody gives two shits about Mercedes Moné.
Let me ask you this, Dan. Before AEW started, and I want anybody on the chat to tell me this one. If Vince McMahon is not in charge of WWE at the time, and Triple H is, would AEW have been successful if Triple H had been in charge and not Vince?
Maybe, and here's why. Because nobody wanted to work for Vince anymore.
So if Vince had already been gone.
No. If Paul Levesque was in charge at the time when AEW was getting its heat, then it would have been different. But see, here's the beautiful thing about WWE, and I will always acknowledge this. Go back to the Monday Night Wars, all of that. They knew how to evolve. They knew how to fucking evolve. They knew how to change up when they needed to. And AEW, what?
What did they do? What's the one thing WCW did that WWE never did? And you've heard multiple guys say it. We were getting our heads kicked in, but we stayed on course. We knew with the guy that we had, it was going to turn. We knew it was going to turn. We knew it was going to turn. They fell into a pot of gold with Steve Austin. They fell into a pot of gold with The Rock.
Well, let me ask you this. Do they still fall in that pot of gold if the curtain call didn't happen? Because they had to punish somebody. You can't punish Nash. You can't punish Hall. And Michaels is your champion. So who was left holding the fucking bag?
Triple H.
Okay, Triple H was supposed to win
the Royal Rumble.
And if Triple H wins the Royal Rumble, maybe you should go take a cheap bottle of Thunderbird, pick up your Bible, and try to thumb up some of that courage you had in your prime. Austin 3:16 says, I just whooped your ass. Do you have that moment?
Absolutely. No. And that's why I'm saying, here's the thing about that, though, is take away that aspect of it. You still had those other guys. Listen, in his own right, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, right, wasn't a bad gimmick.
Exactly, Dave, yeah.
It was better than Thunder Rising, I'll tell you that.
Terrorizing.
Terrorizing.
Terrorizing. You know who gave him that name, though, right? Your favorite fucking trainer in the world, Killer Kowalski. Give me some Terrorizing? Terrorizing.
But I think Austin still would have been where he was at, maybe just a little later.
Could they have made it a little later because they were getting their lunch eaten up?
I think he would have been looking at 3 months down the road because Hunter wins with the crowd going the way Austin was for the crowd. The way the crowd was going for Austin, before he says Austin 3:16, the crowd was getting on to him. Okay?
Yeah.
If Austin doesn't have his King of the Ring moment.
Well, does he have think about this. If he doesn't have that King of the Ring moment, does he have the same performance he has in a Royal Rumble? I'm talking him sitting on the turnbuckle, reading watching his watch.
Absolutely. I think Austin was coming around no matter what because
because again, remember what they told fucking Triple H. You're going to have to eat shit for the next year and like it.
All I'm saying is Austin was coming around with the fans, a la Jey Uso.
Oh, so this is you bringing it full circle. This is where you're going to tell me finally, okay, I'm okay with Jey Uso winning the title.
I'm saying is when you can see what the fans are grabbing onto, and they were grabbing onto.
Thank you. Fucking hold on. Time the fuck out. This is what I've been telling you and Jacob for months. Yeet, Jacob. Fucking, here's the problem I have. For once in their fucking history, that right now, they are listening to the fan reaction, and the fans love some Jey Uso. And until the fans, they're the ones that are making you fucking money, right? They're the ones making you fucking money. And there goes my green screen.
But I'm saying is, though, unlike with Austin, unlike with some of the other guys, a la Daniel Bryan, Kofi Mania, when Jay takes the title off of Gunther, where does Jay go?
That's that. Okay, I get where you and Jacob are coming from with that.
Hold on, no. I think it would have been better if he had chosen Cody. Just like you finished your story, I'm going to finish mine. Not just for me, but for my family.
Hold on, I got one comment. Austin would never have been as over as he was if it wasn't Vince embracing the villain role. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
I think that was a perfect. Hold on, that was a perfect fucking storm if you think about it. Curtain call happens, King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 13, and then we go into the whole fucking thing. We get the next year's Survivor Series.
Oh no, you get Survivor Series turned it around more than anything else.
You say that, but listen to me. You go through that, and you go through fucking Austin and Owen and all the shit, him talking shit to The Rock and everything that went on between there. You have a fucking melting pot boiling with Steve Austin. You pull the trigger with the fucking Bret Hart and all that shit that happened with him. That was no one could have predicted any of that. And if anybody says they did, they're full of shit.
The sad part is this. Austin wins the title at WrestleMania 14. 3 months later, Bad Blood, he loses it for a day. He held his first title for 3 months.
Yeah. Kane. He lost it to Kane.
And then on Monday Night Raw, he won it right back.
Well, to be fair, though, did you want them to do a Jack Perry? Did you want them to set Kane on fire?
No. It was the first blood match.
If I lose the match, I will set myself on fire.
But I'm saying is, though, Austin didn't need the title. The crowd was already there with him.
Because they wanted it. I said it to you. I've said it to Jake. I've said it to others. If the money is in the baby going after the title.
Right. But the sad part is.
I will agree with.
Like I brought it up to you before.
This comment right here. Kane should have had more than a one-day reign, especially back then. And here's the thing. My opinion, going all the way back then, he should have not won that match. He should have challenged him, and then something would have happened where they would have fucking fucked it up. And they should have built it up to it. That was a pay-per-view quality feud that could have been done.
Hey, I've said it before. If this guy right here had gone into WrestleMania 3 with the title, how much more over would Hogan have gotten when he won?
Yeah, we've talked about that. I think absolutely. If you go into WrestleMania 3 and Andre the Giant is the champion, you get Hogan. Hogan gets a little more time. But again, the fans turn. You can't tell me this is different fucking booking. The fans turned on Hogan as well.
And you know what? The next time we see Hogan, he better come out as Hollywood.
He better get fucking beer cans thrown at him.
Shut up, he might. Well, wait a minute. Bash at the Beach. How much beer? How much stuff was thrown into the ring?
We did talk about something on the phone the other day, right? We were sitting here. I was driving home from work, and I was talking to you, and I think there's something to be said about that. I think Hogan had an easier time playing the baby face, because that's not who he is really. You're not going to stand and tell me that Terry Bollea is a fucking vitamin eating, church going, whatever. You're not going to tell me that. It's just I'm not going to believe you.
Thunderlips is really Thunderlips.
No, I say that the Hollywood character was more true life to who he is as a person, and that's why if you go back, and it was after he became the Hollywood character, he had all these marital problems, had all this shit going, because he had to look at who he really was in the mirror. He wasn't playing a character anymore. And there's been a lot of guys like that it's once it's easy to play a gimmick. Like I would go someone like Rick Rude, right? Kurt Hennig has gone on record as saying that Rick Rude, he was Steve Austin, has gone on record as saying Rick Rude is probably one of the most wonderful family men he's ever known. He's a God-fearing Christian man. He was just an amazing human being. But when he got on that camera, in that ring, he could muck it up like anybody's business. You fucking filthy Cincinnati sweat hog. All that stuff was not who he really is. So he could play that character forever because it was an act. It's when the lights are on you and you have to show the world who you really are, then that guilt starts coming in.
Dan, I'll say it before. What the wrestling community doesn't know, for the most part, they shouldn't know. Do you want to know the guy who's the biggest heel in the company? I'll bring in Dominic. Do you really want to know Dominic outside the ring? Is the guy everybody wants to hang around? Is the guy that, let's just say if he had a family, great family man, goes home, takes the kids to school, back, take them to their games. If they have, do you want to know he's really like that? No.
Yeah, I do. You know why? I love Brody Lee.
No, what I'm saying is, though, your heel. You don't want to know your heels like that.
Brody Lee was a heel, and it made me feel good to know that. Like, look, I'm gonna.
But you didn't find that out till after he passed away.
Oh, I didn't. They talk about it all the time. And he makes Dark Horse says here. One thing about Hogan, he does make time for his fans, unlike the rapper wannabe Cena getting all upset at a coffee shop in the UK. Now, let me ask you this:
how much is you paying him for Hogan to be a?
Hogan, is that because Hogan is desperate to get that limelight back and that rub again, to feel that like he's important again?
No. Hogan, listen, when I first met Hogan, I asked him for an autograph and he gave it to me, no problem. Terry, unfortunately, and it's a bad rap on him, because he knew he had to live the gimmick to make the money. Today's athletes or today's superstars, wrestlers, they don't have to live the gimmick anymore to make the money, because the money's already guaranteed now. And that's what part that takes away from the business. Undertaker himself, if you heard him the other day when Michelle McCool was inducted, he goes, I've been living a gimmick for 35 years where I'm this person. He didn't want to cry because his wife just got inducted. At the end of the day, people got to understand these superstars are human beings also.
Agree.
You got to put the suspension of reality behind when they're not on the clock. I understand in the world of professional athletes, when you're in public, you're always on the clock. You know what I say about that?
Hold on.
Screw you.
Time out. That works for every other fucking professional sport except wrestling. And this is why I say that. Because wrestling is built on gimmicks. And these characters are characters. You're not going to see fucking baseball players have to live a gimmick. They are who they are. They play a sport. Wrestling is unique in the sense that you have to be this character because little Timmy believes in John Cena.
Does Sylvester Stallone got to be Rocky all the time?
It's not. That's acting. I'm talking about.
No. Dan, if we're going to be real about this, that's what they do.
But I'm telling you this, as a child, and you were there, and you were fucking, with Coco Beware and this and that, how would you feel if your heroes were exposed to be who they really were as a kid?
Let's just say, I'll give you one example. Ultimate Warrior.
Not
a very good fan person.
I know.
Okay. But you could get somebody who was a total heel at the time, a la Ted DiBiase, Jake Roberts, perfect, who, guess what they do? They wouldn't mind taking time with a fan or something like that. Because why? It put the business over. Hey, even though I'm a heel, if I got a fan, if I can honor a fan's autograph and stuff like that, they're going to come see me. Which is going to do what? Put money in my pocket.
But do you think all of that was about money? Like Undertaker tried to explain to Braun Strowman with some of the silly crap he does on his social media.
Listen, I'm glad somebody said something about Taker, because Taker right now is catching heat for going to the Super Bowl with Vince McMahon. People, Vince McMahon and Undertaker worked together for 33 years. You're going to build a bond with somebody that goes outside of business. What Vince McMahon and Undertaker do outside of business, guess what?
Yeah, but again, they're giving him shit because he's associated with a guy who allegedly trafficked a woman and all this. Now, you and I there are points about that we agree on and disagree. I do think that in part it's a money grab. I do think that there was a consensual relationship there until it wasn't. I do think that we'll never know the truth. The only people that are going to know the truth are him and the woman involved. My issues with Vince stem back from the Ashley Mazzaro stuff and the poor handling of that. It stems back to the Nancy Argentina stuff. And it stems back to a lot of other things. But I will always say, and I'll always fucking be a proponent of, everyone needs to have their fucking day in court. DH, I don't, and I'm not trying to put him on blast or anything. He has very interesting theories on Chris Benoit, and he also comes up with facts and things that really are compelling to make me actually think about possibilities. But I will absolutely listen to those and feel like that. There's some validation there. The problem I have with people is it's always black or white. There's no fucking in the middle. Like that, the possibilities of things happening. I'm so fucking sick of that shit. Open your fucking mind.
See, my thing is too is what Vince McMahon. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again, people. Vince McMahon, what he's had to gone through in his personal life with his own family. Hanging out with the Taker and his son to go to the Super Bowl. Guess what? Let he's still a human being. Let the guy, hey, I'm going to the Super Bowl with my son and Undertaker. Because of the friendship they've developed over a working relationship. Now, they're in the Super Bowl together. They could have left the Super Bowl and said, goodbye, see you later, enjoy, It doesn't mean they're hanging out together, but they're going to go to the game together.
Again, the social interaction with a man that people are calling the fucking devil. It is what it is. To that other thing he said about him being mad at Hogan, I also think that some of that stems from the business that Hogan did and some of the actions that Hogan has done.
Listen, Hogan tried to can Taker back in 1991 in the Survivor Series when he said he gave him a tombstone on a steel chair.
Which is bullshit because he was on the knees.
No. If you go back and look at that video, it was 4 inches minimum. Hogan's head never even, and when he got questioned on it, because I stopped short. But your head never hit the canvas or it never hit the chair. But he claimed it, because I got the joke because I didn't hit it. The problem with that is this. I can understand we're taking now in his career can say, hey, you tried to screw me, buddy. You tried to screw me. Just because I was the next big thing.
This is the issue I have. Again, I don't know these people personally. You've actually had interactions. You work with some of these people. That's fine. And I know that you'll have a soft spot for some of them and not so soft for the others. My frustrations come for being someone who's interacted and talking to you, actually having, sitting down and doing my research the best I can. And the common denominator and the common thing that comes up is the shady practices of some of these people that bother me. Hell, I don't like Bill Goldberg. That no one has ever fucking denied it and can say that I've ever said I do, because I don't like Bill Goldberg. But I do know that while having a discussion with fucking Mark Holloway, the Undertaker, he said, Hogan icy hot me. And by that means that he put icy hot all over his body whenever they had their championship match. And they may call it a rib, but that shit burns like a motherfucker. Got in his eyes, but he did it. And that man's biggest crowning achievement. You're going to beat him in your hometown of Atlanta in the Astrodome, filled to almost to capacity. And you put icy hot all over your body, and you're going to tell me you're doing a rib to a guy in the greatest spectacle of his life. To be funny, that comes off as shitty to me. That's just the kind of person I see Terry as.
You mean the Georgia Dome?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay, Hogan.
Vince does the worst things. So, there's validity.
No. Listen, what he just said is valid in the personal life, not business-wise. Let me ask you the question here.
Wait, are you trying to say that Vince is an integrator at the Super Bowl's business?
No. What I'm saying is, what he just said, Vince has done far worse than Hogan in the personal life, but in the business.
Right there. That if you're talking about the reasons, like this whole fucking female issue, that's the shit that pisses me off about Vince right there.
Let me ask you this: the Owen Hart tragedy, because that's what it was the perfect time for all of those guys to do what? Walk out the frickin' building. Nobody had to get into that ring. Every one of them had a choice to walk out the building.
You can defend the man all you want. But
No. I'm not defending Vince. I'm saying my thing about that is this. Every one of them could have turned around and said, no, Vince, we're not going into that building. We're not getting into that ring.
But then
don't tell me it can't happen.
They get fucking blackballed, and they're fucking.
I saw Hogan do it. Hogan did it. Kerry Von Erich walked into a building. He had gotten Lyme disease. And Hogan said, I don't care if he wrestled before me or after me. I'm not getting into the ring if he gets in that ring and wrestles.
And it's different because that's about a guy having an issue and what have you.
What I'm saying is, if everybody, the next night, it was a volunteer basis. Only the guys who volunteered to wrestle went on the show the next night.
We're talking about two different situations. We're talking about a guy who's being selfish and wrestling with Lyme disease in a fucking ring, and we're talking about blood that is still fucking on the canvas.
So why did the boys just say, Vince, no?
That's a good fucking question. But what I'm talking about, you're going to sit here and tell me that a guy in Vince is going to continue. Look, I'll refund your tickets. We'll do something else for you later. Someone has just fucking died.
Right. And all the boys at that moment in time could have done pro-union and said no. And what were they going to do? Fire everybody? They could have. No, we're not doing it. The problem was there was such a short amount of time to make that decision. They couldn't do it. Because I'll tell you this right now. Think about it. They didn't cancel. They did not cancel the show or didn't for Owen Hart.
Let me read this. Hindsight. It's always 2020. Jim Ross said he didn't know until 5 seconds before he announced the air that Owen had died. I think it's a crazy situation. There's no, you know what? Valid.
And I'm saying to you like this. But when Jerry Lawler had his heart attack at ringside, what did they do?
Didn't ask
no more commentary. For 45 minutes, you had no commentary. All they did was let the boys go in the ring.
Well, Lita, you said that. It happens today. The show stops. What's the... Damn it, Nerfy. The problem I have is... Hold on, let me...
Unfortunately, you'll understand this one, Dan.
Hold on, they've had tragedy after tragedy, and they could have walked away, but Vince could have handled it all. Yeah, absolutely. I mean...
But here's the problem.
Yes, exactly. Right there. Hold on. Put that one up right there. Put that one up.
I see it.
They fucking filmed it.
But they claim there's no film.
No, you can say that. There's a guy that reached out to us when we did that Vince video, and it was disgusting what he said. Actually, wife, could you come in real quick? Speak. I can't hear you. You're not speaking. Check your thing.
Now,
anyway, I can't hear, but I'll say this.
All I'm saying is all the evidence that's ever come out saying nothing was ever filmed, and all of a sudden you got one guy saying, "Oh no, it was filmed," and they destroyed the video.
They wanted to sell it.
No, okay, okay, thank you. There's a guy that we did the Vince video. He came in our comment section and said shit like, "Hey, I have this tape and I want to know if I can sell it. I don't know if I should, this and that." And the fact that he came in and then said that, even if it doesn't exist, you said it yourself before, they film everything.
Oh, yeah.
They had a video of a man falling to his death. And they kept going.
And my only thing about that is this. Until you take away the mantra of the show must go on, take away that mantra. Because us as fans, okay, look at what happens in the NFL if a guy goes out with paralysis or something like that. They don't know how. They'll cancel the rest of the game, okay? You have things like that happen in professional sports, whether it be the NFL, NBA. If it happens during a game,
okay, so it happens during a game. Okay, it happens during a game. Right here. Anyone remember what happened after Brian Pillman died? How Vince had his widow night after talk about his potential drug use and drug addiction.
That's yeah.
My question is,
my question to that is, was it pre-filmed?
I don't like Hogan. I don't like Vince. But if you're going to put one in a category, you got to put them both. You're not going to sit here and tell me, look, Hogan's fucking actions. As he said, he dropped an M-bomb, and it's a piece. As far as that, as a human being, kind of a piece of shit. And all his fucking infractions and the shit he's done, saying the shit about fucking about his son. You're in jail right now, but we can turn this around, and we fucking Koopa, stop it. We don't do this for fucking financial gain. Thank you very much. Anyway, him talking to his son in jail, fucking nerfy. Talking to his son when he was in jail. Oh, don't worry, Nick. We can get a choke over this and that. Shitty, horrible fucking thing to do. Hogan didn't kill nobody. Hogan didn't continue a program when somebody was dead. That's the thing I'm talking about. It's two different fucking lines. Vince has done, and again, I will defend Vince's right to have a court case. I will defend Vince's right to have due process, and I've done that on this show repeatedly. Can't stand the man, but I will defend his right to have a life, but he needs to go through the court system. I'm with you there, 100%. I'm with you. But it doesn't take away from the horrible things that he has been involved with. Nancy Argentina, fucking, paying off the mother, allegedly, with walking in there with Jimmy Snuka with a briefcase, walking out without of it. The shit with Ashley Mazzaro, which was the catalyst for everything we did on this channel. You're going to tell me that Hogan did any of that? I don't like Hogan, and I can dislike both, but that can be to different degrees.
No, you're right, and like I say, Vince has never been convicted of anything either.
I don't give a fuck. These things have happened. It's his show. It's his dime. Hogan hasn't been convicted of shit either. He might be convicted of hitting somebody in the face with a beer can in the next couple of months, but he hasn't gotten convicted yet. The thing is, I get that Taker has a relationship.
Well, let me ask you this. Because he mentioned it, is it right for Owen's widow to monopolize with a different company now?
That's a whole nother can of worms. I do agree. Yeah, I think that's exactly why she did it.
Brett has argued with this woman for years, saying, "My brother deserves." Now, I don't want to hear it sound. My brother deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
And here's an argument to him. There are many Hall of Fames out there. There's not one signature Hall of Fame for wrestling. There's the WWE Hall of Fame. Hell, TNA has its own Hall of Fame. Maybe one day AEW will have theirs. There's not one central Hall of Fame, and if there was a central based,
there is one called the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame.
So that's the Hall of Fame he deserves to be in. Fuck the WWE making T-shirts.
Here's the only problem with that is though, they have nothing other than because remember who owns Stampede?
WWE.
So all the video for Owen is owned by WWE.
Does video make Owen who he was as a man and as a professional wrestler?
It only makes him without the video. All you have is the
own shit. Hold on. World Wrestling Entertainment owns that. Vince doesn't own fuck all.
No, what I'm saying is, without the video, all you have is the dad and the husband. It's all you have without the video. Now, that's all you have.
I don't need a video.
But you know the problem with Martha Hart is she got 18 million reasons to hate WWE. Okay? But she'll profit off his name off of another company.
Again, you're saying this, and I don't like the idea of them having an Owen Cup and this and that, like a belt over there in AEW. Look, that's her choice because it does come off kind of tacky because he never wrestled there.
It only promotes her. The only person I see it promoted on that thing is her.
That's not fair because it is. Look, I love. No, let me take that back. I apologize. I spoke poorly. I do like there's an Owen Hart tournament. I do like that he's getting the prestige for this. I do 100%. Do I think he deserves to be in a Hall of Fame? Absolutely. But after taking all the facts and listening to everything, I don't want him in the WWE Hall of Fame. They do not deserve to profit on him. Wait, it's a catch-22 now. I'm sorry because he's gone. That person. This way. You know what? You got me on this one. You got me.
Hey, I'm going to put it like this: the Hart family alone deserves to be in there. The Hart family. And that's how you get around that. Induct the whole Hart family, include him in it.
You got me here. And here's why. Because a Vince McMahon WWE does not deserve to have anything to do with anybody from that family at all. That's my opinion. But a current
administration
without a Vince McMahon absolutely should pay homage to one of the greatest, most loved wrestlers of all time.
And I'm saying is if Martha doesn't want him going by himself, you induct the Hart family.
That is shitty. And you know that's shitty.
No, I understand it. But if there's a way around it, so he can't.
There should not be a way around it. Fuck that.
No, I'm saying is if she won't allow him in by himself, induct the Hart family and include him in that damn induction.
No, fuck that. Because look, if I die tomorrow and I'm in some Hall of Fame out there, and my wife decides no, I don't care if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. That is my wife, and I trust her judgment. And if my wife says no, then if I'm the dead, I'll agree with her and say no, I'm with her. And so people should respect that. You may not like it, but damn it, you're going to respect it.
Well, yeah, she's now she think about it. Her kids are at an age now where they're conveniently. Does it sound like she waited till the kids were of age before she did anything? Because they were over 18 when she first started doing stuff with AEW. They were definitely over 18. So did she wait till they were over 18 before she?
You said the boys should have walked out the night Owen died. But you said that Martha is standing her ground.
Yep.
Why?
Because I'm going to tell you why. I said if people are so upset they continue to show, then the boys should have walked out that night. If people are upset, then why didn't the boys walk out?
But that also you're also not taking into account there's a very healthy fucking fear that you have a man that out of pettiness, because at that time he was very petty.
What was he going to do the following night on Raw? You have a show with just him in the ring.
He's not going to think about that.
And that's why I'm saying.
And again, you and I weren't there at that time.
And that's why I'm saying to you, with what was going on in the ring, the guys in the back could have just looked at Vince and said, We're not going out there. What are you going to do? Can us all? The problem with the professional wrestling thing is
you can get mad at the wrestlers, but the buck has to stop with somebody, right?
But if you revolt, I'm saying is if you pull the Jesse Ventura and you pull the revolt and said everybody said we're not going out there. What's Vince going to do?
Well, let me ask you this, because you're putting the blame on the wrestlers. You have run
No, I'm not putting the blame on. I'm not putting the blame on them. I'm only asking for people who say
time to play devil's advocate. Damn it! Listen to me. You have run shows.
Yep.
Okay, and you're very proud of the work you've done. You put all effort in that. You have run shows. Something like this happens. That show's over, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Why?
Liability.
Shut the fuck. What the fuck? I can't stand you.
No, because remember.
You know what we talked about before you came on the air? Your wife checking if you actually had a heart. I'm really starting to fucking think you need to get a second opinion on that shit.
Hey, listen, I might have my Vince hat on right now. I'm not sure.
You need to take that shit off. And if you show up next week with a fucking mustache, I'm going to knock the shit out of it.
I'm only saying the Jesse Ventura rule here should have applied. Where, hey, if none of us go out to the ring, what's he going to do? But hindsight being 2020, you were in the midst of one of your biggest errors, and nobody wanted to tell him no.
I'll put it like this, and again, I need to clarify something because
who was the match after that?
I need it because it's getting heated. I want to clarify to people in the chat. When me and Gerard have these discussions, it doesn't mean that we are absolutely on this side or that side. We have discussions where sometimes we play devil's advocate. Oh, yeah. I do not want you to think that Gerard Millette is a piece of shit who would actually fall in line with some of this. This is a heated discussion that we have. Gerard is a wonderful human being, has a heart, completely understands all the severity of this, but it's a conversation that we can have now because all this time has passed and we can have those debates.
Hey, to Dark Horse, he just put a comment out there. My now-wife or my ex-wife?
Your ex-wife would have tried to pronounce you dead even though you were fucking still breathing in the ring.
I was going to say, I'd have to choose my words wisely, depending on which one you want me to talk.
But that being said, I can't stand when I have these conversations because you get me in it. Like I want to swallow it. But I have to remind myself of that. And again, I'm telling y'all, please don't pitchfork him. He's not. This is not what you think. We have these, and I as much as I enjoy them, I want to.
No. I do. It has to be. If you always do things 100% one way, you don't have a discussion. It becomes agreeable. And and then we end up having. It sounds like we're puppets.
Yeah, and you and I always had the discussion before and after that.
And I'm nobody puppet.
You and I never, we agree on a lot of things, but we were not like cookie cutter motherfuckers who go, oh yes, Dave Meltzer's right. Oh yes, what culture's right. Oh yes, fucking Brandon Thurston and John Pollock are the greatest. We don't do that. That's not who we are, and I would not expect anybody in this chat.
All I can tell you is this: if Jacob was here right now,
we would have heard a lot more about Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to Chris? Man, fucking Jacob, we miss you. I hope you're watching. We love you.
But this way, we would have Jacob's rant would have been going on for 20 minutes on that.
Jacob's corner would have been playing at least 6 times But no, and like I said, we're coming up. We got about a minute left before we close out, and I do love these. Like I said, I don't want if you're new to this and you're new to watching, we don't sit here and just. We're not playing games when we're doing this. We're not talking about other shit. We are a wrestling fucking podcast. That's what we do. And when Gerard and I talked about this and it came to fruition, we brought Jacob on because he's the perfect third for us because we don't get into this because we have Jacob to be that centerpiece to keep us cool. I am so grateful to you, Gerard, for being here. I'm gonna quote somebody from the Panhandle. Working with you was the greatest experience.
With the exception of my kids being born, This is the greatest moment in history of my life. Adrian, I love you.
But so fucking stupid. But again, I love doing this. I love shooting the shit with you. You know, we got some shit coming up. Hopefully we can get it all worked out. I'm gonna be to let y'all know, it's gonna be in a couple weeks, but it may be just a show with Gerard and Jacob. We figured it out. It may just be we might skip that week, but I won't be here because I got some shit going on. And Gerard, because he's got to fucking take vacation, so it may just be me and Jacob in a couple weeks. We'll figure it out.
Just so people know, I work hard to take vacations.
Of course you do. Hell, we may get Tony to come back on pretty soon because, you know, I need someone to bitch about Gerard with. Anyway.
Well, listen, if he had just been involved in that discussion.
Oh, fuck. He was there.
I know. Yes, he was.
That being said, I am Dan. This is my partner, Gerard. Jacob is on assignment, as we said before. We are the Marks Podcast, and we will see you next week.
Good night.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
Calling all the grappling fans, from body slams to high-flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down in every